Have you ever tried to really wrap your head around 4.5 billion years? It's pretty much impossible. So what if we didn't have to? What if we could squeeze the entire epic story of planet Earth into a single 24-hour day? That's exactly what we're going to do. It's a journey that I promise will completely change how you see our world and our tiny little place in it.
So let's imagine this giant cosmic clock. If we started at midnight, when does life show up? How long do the dinosaurs really last? And what about us, humanity? When do we finally make our grand entrance? Well, the answer is going to be a lot smaller and frankly, way more shocking than you probably think. Let's start the clock.
Okay, the clock officially begins at midnight, but there's no Earth. Not yet. All we have is this massive, swirling cloud of dust and gas, all circling around our brand new star, the sun. And then, gravity just starts doing its thing, pulling all these bits of cosmic dust together, smashing them into bigger and bigger clumps until a planet is born.
And these first moments, they are pure, absolute chaos. At midnight sharp on our clock, Earth finally takes shape, but it's a hellscape. Spinning so fast, a day is only 6 hours long. Then, just 40 minutes later, a rogue planet about the size of Mars, which we call Theia, comes hurtling in and slams right into us. The debris from that cosmic car crash gets flung into orbit and eventually forms our moon. By 1:15 in the morning, the planet starts to cool down a bit. Vapor from countless volcanoes condenses, and it begins to rain for the very first time. Comets, basically giant dirty snowballs, bombard the surface, delivering the water that will form the very first ocean.
So, after that unbelievably violent beginning, they quiet down. For a very, very long time. Our planet is now a water world, but it's totally sterile. You know, the stage is perfectly set, but the main actors haven't shown up to the party yet.
Deep under the waves, you've got these volcanic vents on the ocean floor, just churning out this hot, rich mix of chemicals. Scientists call this the primordial soup. And in this soup, nature is basically running the most incredible chemistry experiment of all time. Just randomly mixing and matching molecules, hoping something clicks. And then, finally, a breakthrough. The very first amino acids in RNA, the fundamental building blocks of life, start to form.
But even with the ingredients, we still have to wait. And wait. For hours and hours on our clock, absolutely nothing happens. Then, at 4:30 in the morning, after an eternity of silence, there it is. The first fully formed, self-replicating cell. Life on Earth has finally begun.
Okay, fast forward to 11:35 in the morning. A new type of bacteria called cyanobacteria stumbles upon a revolutionary trick, photosynthesis. They figure out how to use sunlight for energy, and in the process, they release a waste product. That waste product? Oxygen. Now, here's the crazy part. For almost every other living thing on the planet at the time, this brand new gas was a deadly, corrosive poison. It triggered a global catastrophe, a mass extinction that wiped out most of the life that had taken billions of years to evolve.
But you know what they say, out of catastrophe comes opportunity. The survivors learned to use this powerful new gas. So, at 1:39 p.m., just after lunch, we see this massive evolutionary leap. One simple cell actually swallows another one, but instead of digesting it, they form a team. Think of it like this. We go from a simple prokaryote cell, which is like a tiny studio apartment where everything just floats around in one room, to a complex eukaryote cell, a mansion with specialized rooms like a nucleus to protect the DNA and mitochondria to act as power plants. This is the ancestor of every single plant and animal alive today.
So, we've just passed the halfway mark of our day. And believe it or not, so far, every single living thing has been microscopic. But now, as we head into the evening, the pace of change is about to kick into high gear, and things are going to get wild.
But right before things can really get going, another disaster. Of course. At 8:38 p.m., the climate goes haywire, and the entire planet freezes solid, covered in ice that's miles thick. We call it Snowball Earth. Most life gets wiped out. Again. But deep down in the dark oceans, huddled around those warm volcanic vents, a few survivors cling on, just waiting for the big thaw.
And boy, when that ice finally melts, life just explodes with creativity. At 9:12 p.m., the Cambrian explosion kicks off. This is basically nature's experimental phase on overdrive. For the very first time, we see big, complex animals with hard parts like shells and exoskeletons. You've got trilobites dominating the seas,
our earliest ancestors with backbones showing up, and all these wonderfully weird creatures like the spiny worm-like hallucigenia crawling all over the seafloor. It's just bizarre and amazing.
So for over 4 billion years, life has been trapped in the water. But now, it's time for the next great chapter, the invasion of the continents. Here's how it goes down. First, at 9:34 p.m., simple mosses start to creep ashore. Just 6 minutes later, insects and spiders follow them, probably looking for an easy meal. And then, at 10:05 p.m., a type of lobe-finned fish uses its strong fins like primitive legs to haul itself out of the water and onto the shore. The first amphibian has arrived. The land will never be the same.
With life now firmly planted on land, a whole new group of animals is about to take over, and they will rule this planet for what seems like an eternity. But on our 24-hour clock, their entire, incredible reign is going to last for just over an hour. So it's 10:48 p.m., and some reptiles evolve this crucial advantage. See, instead of sprawling with their legs out to the side like a lizard, they develop an upright stance, with their legs directly underneath their bodies. This might not sound like a big deal, but it made them way faster and much more agile. These are the very first dinosaurs.
And you can see their journey right here. They start out relatively small back in the Triassic period, but then, over the course of the next hour on our clock, they just explode in size. Through the Jurassic and the Cretaceous periods, they evolve into the absolute giants, the massive herbivores and terrifying predators that we all know and love.
But hey, not all dinosaurs were giants. At 11:13 p.m., some of the smaller meat-eating dinosaurs started to develop feathers. A creature called Archaeopteryx still has sharp teeth and a bony tail just like a dinosaur, but it can also fly. So get this, birds didn't just evolve from dinosaurs, birds are dinosaurs. They're literally the last surviving branch of that incredible family tree.
So life is thriving. The planet is teeming with these incredible giants. Everything seems perfect. There is absolutely no warning, no sign at all of the impending disaster that is about to end their world forever.
The time is 11:39 p.m. We're just 21 minutes away from midnight, and an object from deep space is on a direct collision course with Earth. It hits near the Yucatan Peninsula with a force that is almost impossible to comprehend. The impact instantly vaporizes everything for hundreds of miles and throws a colossal cloud of superheated dust and debris into the atmosphere, which quickly wraps around the entire planet.
The sky goes completely dark. Sunlight is blocked out, temperatures plummet, and plants can no longer photosynthesize. The entire global food chain just collapses. In the end, 75% of all species on Earth are wiped out, including every single dinosaur that couldn't fly. But in the shadows, hiding in burrows, are ancestors, small, warm-blooded mammals. They survive. And with the giants finally gone, their time has come.
Okay, the world recovers. Mammals spread out and diversify, filling all the empty roles. But our story, the human story, doesn't even begin until the final last minute of the entire day. Everything, and I mean everything, is about to happen in a flash. Just listen to how fast this goes. At just 13 seconds to midnight, Homo habilis, the handyman, shows up using the first simple stone tools. 11 seconds later, at 24 seconds to midnight, Homo erectus masters fire and begins to walk out of Africa. But it isn't until there are just 6 seconds left on the clock that our own species, Homo sapiens, appears. And then, with only 1 single second left to go, our closest relatives, the Neanderthals, disappear forever. And now we have to zoom in even further, into the final second. All of recorded human history happens right here. The Great Pyramids of Giza? They were built just 95 milliseconds ago. The entire Industrial Revolution, kicked off by the steam engine, a mere 6 milliseconds ago. The internet? It showed up 1 single millisecond ago. All of it. Our art, our wars, our empires, all in the blink of an eye.
So when you really look at it on this grand cosmic scale, our entire complex civilization has existed for barely a heartbeat. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? After everything that has happened in the last 24 hours, what on earth is going to happen in the next one?